Good afternoon. Today I'll be discussing corporate level strategy by focusing on an array of various topics such as vertical integration, diversification, and how mergers and acquisitions, as well as how strategic decisions can both shape and destroy value for a company. Beginning with the foundational difference between the concepts of vertical integration and diversification, the concept of diversification centers on the idea of expanding into a different value chain. An example of this is Coca-Cola choosing to diversify its drink options by purchasing the energy drink brand Body Armor to enter a completely new value chain to diminish risk with people drinking less sugar and soda. On the other hand, vertical integration involves entering a new part of the same value chain. In the case of vertical integration, a company is trying to control its means of production by either going up its value chain towards suppliers or downstream towards customers. An example of this could be the burger chain Five Guys buying a potato farm for their French fry offerings and a livestock farm for their hamburgers. Changing gears for a moment, the ticket behemoth Ticketmaster has long been criticized for its near monopolistic position in the entertainment industry, with the dominance only growing when it merged with Live Nation. Although investors will be happy that the merger consolidates the newly formed company's grasp over the industry and thus will improve their return on investment, critics have signaled concerns that this consolidation will only further reduce competition and consumer options and consequently consumer prices. Even worse, the scenario of one company having a near monopolistic control of an industry can have dire consequences for aspiring brands wanting to enter the arena, as it can construct further barriers to entry to reinforce its advantage and further restrict market fairness. While advocates of Ticketmaster's dominance claim that its stature in the industry creates more efficiency and scale, after examining this case study, it seems that breaking up Ticketmaster could result in competition in the market, which would obviously be positive for consumers, which would most likely benefit consumers also by offering them more choice and potentially lower prices. By moving on to the ongoing drama involving Spirit, Frontier, and JetBlue, the proposed merger between Spirit and Frontier represents an attempt to consolidate two major important players in the low-cost airline industry into one company. Considering that this would increase competition in this cutthroat industry, JetBlue has made no secret of its desire to acquire Spirit Airlines. Considering that JetBlue is not a low-cost airline in the same way that Spirit and Frontier are, analysts have shown concern that if JetBlue is successful with its attempts to acquire Spirit, there will be one less ultra-low-cost option for customers to consider. The airline drama actually highlights how mergers and acquisitions activity is often less about simply growing, but rather about the strategic position. In this way, a company can often consolidate its own position or even prevent a rival from growing by engaging in a strategic acquisition or merger. This was actually the case with ServiceNow's acquisition of Armis, as this purchase seems like a strategic acquisition that aligns with the company's goal of long-term value creation. Specializing in cybersecurity, Armis can now provide ServiceNow with real-time visibility into connected devices across multiple networks. Compared to some managers, that's simply allowing purchase rivals for their own. Compared to some managers that simply purchase rivals for their own vanity or to receive higher compensation, the acquisition of Armis actually strengthens ServiceNow's existing capabilities rather than divert the company into unknown territory. This acquisition supports both the strategic alignment and innovation of the company by improving the firm's offerings and addressing an important need: cybersecurity. Considering that I have just touched on it in the last section, it is worth expanding on the positive and negative role that CEOs can play in mergers and acquisitions. Although they are often responsible for identifying possible M&A options that can be a strategic fit and gain value for the firm, many CEOs will often destroy the potential value of a merger and acquisition by either overpaying or failing to properly integrate the acquired or merged company effectively into the parent company or into the partner company. In essence, mergers and acquisition success is not a deal in itself. It's about execution, discipline, and leadership. In many ways, it actually relates to Jim Collins' hedgehog concept from his book Good to Great, that talks about what are you deeply passionate about, what can you be the best of the world at, and what drives your economic engine. As a result, a company should not buy another company unless they know it will be a profitable acquisition for it. It adds to its passion, and it also furthers its ability to be the best at the world at some craft. To conclude, corporate level strategy involves making big decisions that often shape the trajectory of our company. Managers are tasked with not only identifying new opportunities, but also to have the humility to know when is a good opportunity and when is not. Thank you so much. Bye.